Merciful God, we have gathered here this evening in the midst of the holy season of Lent, a season to remember the sacrifices made by our Lord and others to provide us with the freedom to worship you in public without fear. All these who have come tonight have also sacrificed their time and their energy out of concern and for the betterment of our community. Grant us the wisdom to see issues clearly as we ask your guidance in making decisions for the good of all. Show us how to be part of the answer and not part of the problems that have a tendency to overwhelm us. May we be channels of your grace, conduits of your wisdom and mercy, and instruments of your peace as we ask your blessing on this meeting. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Norma, roll call.
Councilmember Jimmy Walker.
Here.
Councilmember Steve Hudson.
Here.
Councilmember Robert Huddleston.
Here.
Mayor John Thompson. Vice Mayor Jackie Henry.
Here.
Councilmember Joseph Marsh. And Councilmember Tatiana Murieta.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Okay, presentations. The monthly report and business spotlight recognitions by the Coolidge Chamber of Commerce. Lynn?
Good evening, Vice Mayor Henry and Council. I wanted to report about Cotton Days event. We had about 5,000 to 6,000 people. It was a great weekend. We had great entertainment. United Dance Crew did a great job Friday night. The magic show, the hypnotists, the rave band, mariachis, and thigh band on Sunday. So, and we added cornhole this year. It was a great turnout and everything. So, I think it was an overall great event. We also had, at the Artisan Village, we had Touch Outer Space. Great success. We had a lot of people coming from out of the area. It was from 10 to 4 p.m. The interest in geology is huge. It's great. Kyle from the new manager from the Bank of the West, he couldn't make it tonight, but they are a spotlight for March. Bank of the West started in 1874 in California as Farmers National Gold Bank. They survived the 1906 earthquake, Great Depression, and 2 world wars. By 1979, the bank had 35 offices in the area of Francisco Bay and over 350 million assets. In 1979, they changed their bank name to the Bank of the West. And their statement is, "Our passion for customer service is appreciated by loyal customers and sets us apart from the banking peers. Friendly and knowledgeable team members, reliable transactions process, and simple, straightforward products and service are hallmarks of our style of award-winning relationships in banking." So stop by and see the new manager, Kyle Gallo of Bank of the West. Our reinvestments for January are Great Western Bank, Sky Flight Service, LLC, Coolidge Ace Hardware, Community Presbyterian Church, Garrett Motors, Rox Media Group, Day Auto Supply, K&S Sports Promotion, Felix Construction. New members for January are MCOR Service of Arizona, Skyline Home Loans. Our stats for January, our website hits are up about 23%, walk-ins about 823, phone calls are 405. Top states that visit us was California and Iowa. Top foreign countries was Canada and Scotland. 8,536 people visited the Casa Grande ruins in January, so that's our year-to-date total. Some upcoming events. March 13th, the library has the Fun Van and Color Those Worries Away. March 14th, Casa Grande Ruins has a lecture. And on March 15th and 17th through the 17th, they have a demonstration there. March 16th, the library has Tween Titans, and March 21st is our luncheon. you have any questions? Okay,
I don't.
thank
Well,
you.
let's go ahead and give the Bank of the West congratulations. Okay, call to the public. The council requests that you express your ideas in 3 minutes or less and refrain from any personal attacks or derogatory statements about any city employee, a fellow citizen, or anyone else, whether in the audience or not. The mayor will not be able to discuss whenever, the mayor will limit discussion whenever she deems such as action appropriate to the proper conduct of the meeting. At the conclusion of the open call to the public, the individual members of the council may respond to criticisms made to those addressed to the council, may ask for staff to review a matter, or may ask that the matter be put on a future agenda. However, members of the council shall not discuss or take legal action on any matters during an open call to the public unless the matters are properly noticed or discussed in legal action. So if we have anybody wants to speak under the call of the public, you must state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes. And I will cut you off at the 3 minutes.
My name is Heidi Miller. I live at 1050 North 9th Street, Coolidge, Arizona, apartment 13. I am here over concern with the situation that is still unresolved with the Military Honor Park. We currently have problems as far as we have had to cancel the event that was the anniversary for the park, which is damaging to the city as far as not being able to have the event for the citizens, and also the fact that we don't have people, veterans and their supporters coming from outside the city that usually attend this event. With the situation currently still unresolved, we have difficulties as far as planning for the Memorial Day event because we don't have any understanding as far as how to access the funds that were donated for the Military Honor Park. And we also don't know and have an agreement as far as the use of the wide, open area so that we can have people there at the Military Honor Park for the Memorial Day service, and also possibly food. And my concern is that some of the people that should be representing the city haven't made a timely effort to get this situation resolved, and which is why we've had to cancel the anniversary event. And the thing it is that the city has some responsibilities here because they pay money to the Chamber of Commerce, and so should certainly be able to influence them to make an effort that this thing can be resolved in a positive way so that the citizens of Coolidge can enjoy the Military Honor Park for the purpose that it was initially established, and also so that we can look at making enhancements that would be of benefit to the whole city. And I have concerns because I went to the initial meeting in January, and I heard someone say that verbal agreements weren't enforceable by law. In my experience, they are enforceable by law, and my concern is, how do you do business with people that you cannot trust their word? And so I would like this situation resolved as soon as possible so that we can move forward in a positive way. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Oscar Rodriguez. I live at 213 West Palm Court in Coolidge. I am the creator of the Military Honor Park that when I had it in my home, I was invited to the Performing Arts Center meeting with Jack Malpass that offered me the property to build a park. From the beginning, there was nothing was ever mentioned about rent or lease. Now they want me to pay rent for the military hunter park. And let's see, when I started building the park, Rick Miller, the city at the time was in charge of code enforcement. He signed all the permits, waived my fee for the permits, and after the park was completely done, he told me that Jack Malpass had no right to offer me that property because they didn't own the park, and that the school owned it, and they weren't able to sign a contract that Jack Malpass and I were going to make together. But Rick Miller stopped that. Now that I have donations, I have had donations from the military, from veterans and their family members. They have a hold of that account. They closed the military hunter park account and transferred it to one of their own accounts. That money that was donated by veterans belongs to the veterans, not the Artisan Village or the Performing Arts Center. They have hold of paver money that veterans purchase a paver to be put on the wall. They will not release that money. It has nothing to do with the 501c3. Like I said, after a year and a half of me having the park there, is when they wanted to take 30% donation money from the veterans. We fought that. They don't. Now they want rent. They want me to pay rent for the property that the park is on. When I moved this park to the Artisan Village or the Performing Arts Center, I thought I was moving it there for the city of Coolidge and for the people of Coolidge and the veterans of Coolidge, not for the Artisan Village or the Performing Arts Center. Let's see. And when you have a city manager that's a board member for 2 boards of the Artisan Village Performing Arts Center, the director of the Chamber of Commerce is a board member of the Performing Arts Center and the Artisan Village.
Time's up.
That's good. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name is David Scott. I live at 32111 North Chestnut Trail, San Juan Valley, Arizona. I came to the center several years ago looking to be able to provide some guidance, provide some of my equipment. I'm a lapidary. I'm also a retired counseling psychologist with the Department of Veterans Affairs. I've spent many hours meeting and talking with veterans across the country. I've stood in front of that flag and took the oath probably 7 times. What I don't understand is why both the city and the county, I live in the county, haven't stepped forward to resolve this issue. You're dealing with taxpayers' money, our money. You're dealing with veterans. Earlier this evening, we stood before the flag and we swore our pledge. So did every veteran. Every one of those names on the wall represents a family member, a son, a daughter. And in the early beginnings, I walked the grounds with many of the early developers, Jack included. I miss him terribly. There was never a mention that that property, that little piece of ground, would ever be paying taxes or paying rent or any kind of thing like that. That money belongs in the pockets of the family of the veterans themselves. How many of you have been to the wall? How many of you have walked through the National Cemetery here in Phoenix and stood there and looked at the families and seen the tears in their eyes and the children who lost their lives? We asked school districts, is it possible that maybe some of the veterans or some of the police officers that are teachers to stand there for our children and be there when they're needed? But yet the city can't step forward and resolve an issue that is part of their town and their community, their county, I bet you that there's funds from the federal government that comes into the school district, comes into this city, and there are people sitting waiting to resolve this issue. And I suggest strongly that the county, city, this community, and I've lived in Arizona, I'm a Chandler High School graduate, and I've been here pretty much my whole life. Law enforcement, I've spent a little time in the county doing that, and my family. There are many, many things that need to be resolved, and all of us need to look at the issues, not be afraid to step forward and say, hey, you know what? This is something that needs to be done for our veterans. When you drive down the street by the village or the center, what do you see? What is the first thing that comes to your eye? Not the old school, but the flags. They represent us, the veterans, and I ask the council to find what it takes
That's
to do
your
what
time.
needs to be done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Sherry Wallace, 12398 West Greystone Drive, Casa Grande, Arizona. Vice Mayor, members of the council, city manager, a few years ago, Coolidge High School adopted the phrase, Coolidge Strong, and never has that phrase been more evident than the last couple of weeks. The recent school tragedy in Florida and then the subsequent threats on our own school sites has had an overwhelming and apprehensive effect on all of us in Coolidge. But what I saw during that week was a collective effort and attitude of strength, courage, and resolution. Every aspect of our community has banded together, from students to parents to community members to our city officials. All have shown toughness, commitment, and perseverance. I'm here tonight to officially and formally give my sincerest gratitude and appreciation to the city officials, Mayor John Thompson, who is in contact daily with me, Vice Mayor Jackie Henry, Police Chief Malinsky, and the officers that came to our aid immediately and offered their expertise to assist us in ascertaining who was making the threats and if those threats were even possible. They shared our obligation to treat every rumor as true, and they spent countless hours investigating. Retired officers, along with Mayor John Thompson, even came to support and contribute by patrolling at our school sites that week. You know, I get a little emotional when I think of how this small town came together for our kids. And I am so honored to be part of the Coolidge community. I grew up here. I want the citizens to be as proud as I am and grateful that many city employees, especially the police department, put other obligations on hold to determine our children were safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to speak?
Thank you. My name is Ralph Swain. I'm at 2243 West Roosevelt Avenue. I am a member of the Coolidge Veterans Council, and I was also a member of the Coolidge Performing Arts Foundation Board, as well as the core leadership team of Artisan Village during the initial stages of discussions of having the Honor Park moved to the premises where the Artisan Village is now located. I may have been the only person in that whole group that disagreed with the location. I felt the proper place for Veterans Park should be 24-hour access in a place such as San Carlos Park. In the initial discussions, excuse me, the Artisan Village saw the opportunity to approach Mr. Rodriguez because that would be a great draw for the facility. There was no discussion of we can charge rent or any discussion about what would happen with the donation funds that the public gave. As a member of the public, as a veteran, and as someone who purchased the brick when the facility was in Oscar's front yard, in no way did I ever even assume that that brick and the funds would go to anyone but other than the Oscar Rodriguez, and of course, as it was moved, still remain a part of this park. So I think most of those people, if you queried them about the money that they spent to purchase a paving block, would have the same feeling, that it is not property of Artisan Village or some other entity, but part of that honor park, regardless of the location. So I just wanted to say that as someone who was present in a pretty unique position at that time, and I'm no longer connected with them, but I think it's a shame and a disgrace the way Oscar's been treated. And I can guarantee you that veterans are not going to let this go until it's resolved in a fair and equitable manner, and that funds that originally were donated to the park be returned to the Oscar Rodriguez family or the Coolidge Veterans Council for disposition wherever the future of that park is going to be. Thank you.
I am Janice Calvert. I live at 1031 South 4th Street here in Coolidge. I am here on behalf of the Military Honor Park. I support it 100%. I would love to see it stay in its current location because it is centrally located. I can send people over there from Tag's Cafe all day long. I don't want to see it moved. I'd like to see this whole situation resolved, and it's gone on long enough. I don't know if the city can give any advice or information so that we can get this resolved, but it needs to be resolved in a real timely manner. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Celeste Adele Carter. I live at 3951 North Wheeler Road. My family's been out here since 1934, so I've been part of Coolidge for a very, very long time, as well as my family. I'm a business owner right on 87 next to Tag's Cafe. I have been dealing with the military since 1992 when I ended up opening up 3 barbershops outside Luke Air Force Base for 15 years. And I'm not a veteran, but I'll tell you what, being a part of that world was very supportive, very amazing how people treated each other and respected each other, and I got to be a part of that world, and I thought it was very awesome that I was allowed to be a part of that world, even though I didn't go through the things that a lot of people did go through. I have a special, unique situation in my shop. I have a lot of military stuff. People come in, they look at my stuff in my shop. I try to give the veterans a discount for thanking them for their service, charge them $7. I'm going to the stand down this weekend over in Florence because I was invited to help out the veterans. I've gone to the Santan over there to help out veterans. Anything I can do to help them, I will do that, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be where we are today and have the freedom that we do. I support the Military Honor Park. I am their treasurer. I've been under Lynn's, I guess, look at, because I'm not allowed to have anything. Only goes through her first, and then I kind of look through it. But I think that a lot of what's been going on has been a disgrace. I am very disappointed in the situation that's been going on, that we're treating our veterans this way. I feel like Florence and Casa Grande and Eloy are all supporting the veterans, and yet we can't support our veterans here in Coolidge. And it breaks my heart because I think that our veterans are wonderful, and again, I'm repeating myself, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be where we are today. Thank you.
My name is Richard Rodriguez. I live at 228 West Pinkley in Coolidge. Sorry. I'm here for the Military Honor Park. My dad built this park in front of his house as a dream, and it grew and blew up from there. And when he was asked to move it to the Artisan Village, he thought he was moving it for the city and the veterans and the people to enjoy, and for him to continue living his dream. And then after he moved it there, after a year and a half later, this happens to him is really hurtful and disgraceful. I think that the city and everyone else should step in and resolve this issue, because not only does it look bad on the city and the councils of the city and the people of the city, it looks bad for everyone because we're treating our veterans this way. And when I hear the back talk, well, why isn't the city stepping in? Why isn't the city doing this? It looks bad for everybody, especially when we claim to support our veterans, and yet no one wants to step in because they don't want to overstep or get in trouble or whatever. But it's wrong. Nowhere do you see that a memorial or a park for the veterans is getting charged or getting fined or getting their money taken to be there to support the veterans. My dad fought, and all the veterans fought for our freedoms and for everything, and we should give them the respect they deserve, they need, and there should be a park for everyone to enjoy freely and donate without worrying where their money's going, and to know that when they donate their money, it's going to the veterans, it's going to the Veterans Park, is going to build that park bigger. My dad has dreams for that park to become bigger, maybe even a museum, but as long as this is going on, it's not going to happen. And that's going to hurt the city, it's going to hurt the people of the city, the businesses of the city, and the image of the city. And that's not something we all want. My dad didn't build this dream for it to be taken away from him or anybody else. So I ask that, everyone support him and the park and the veterans and get this situation resolved immediately. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, we're going to go to approval of minutes. City Council Study Session February 12th, 2018. City Council Regular Meeting February 12th, 2018. And City Council Regular Meeting February 26th.
No question and discussions. I make a motion that we approve the minutes as read. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, before I read the consent items, does anyone would like to pull anything on this one? Okay. Item number 8, consider approval of declaring an awarded seized property as surplus and allow staff to use Sierra Auction to liquidate the attached list. All awarded funds will be deposited into the Coolidge Police Department RICO account managed by the Pinal County Attorney's Office. Discussion and action. Anyone have anything? Okay. Consider approval of paying 1% stipend to the city employees approved in financial year 17-18 budget.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, with no further discussion, I make a motion that we approve consent agenda items 8 and 9 as read.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, regular items. Consider approval of the fiscal year 16-17 comprehensive annual report, and that's the audit for filing. Mr.
Good evening,
Garcia?
Vice Mayor, members of the council. I've enlisted the help of Sophia Lapayas, her first council meeting, and so I figured we might as well put her to work, and she's handing out a copy of our annual financial report. Unfortunately, I'd like to ask that we table this for tonight. The auditor, Jim Yusevich, a part of Colby and Powell, could not make it. I got an email just a little bit before the meeting saying he couldn't make it. I'd like to table this till the next meeting. I did give you the report you have there. In addition, just so that you know, there were no findings in the audit as well as the single audit, which is required when we receive over $750,000 of federal funds. So there was no issues there. So we're in good standing. We've submitted the report for our 9th straight year, trying to receive the certified annual financial report distinguishment. We've had 8 of them so far. Hopefully this will be our 9th, so we'll know probably in the coming months. It usually takes 2 or 3 months for them to review it, make sure it meets all the criteria and all that kind of stuff. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully on the next council meeting or the following council meeting, we'll have Jim come in and talk about what his firm found when they came in. So.
Okay. Anybody have anything?
Madam Mayor, make a motion to table item 10.
Second.
There's been a motion made to table item number 10 and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Okay, discuss the proposed fiscal year 18-19 budget schedule.
Okay, Mayor, members of the council, going over this year's budget schedule. Looks like I want to come to you guys with your permission on April 9th will be our first budget session, so we'll start that obviously a little bit before the council meeting. We're going to look at general fund, HERF, streets, CIP, debt service, and impact fees. Then we're going to come again on May 14th to look at grants, enterprise, CFD, fire pension, IDA. And then on June 11th, we'll come and adopt the tentative budget. So what will happen after April 9th, I'll get your feedback. We'll go through and make any changes that we see fit. After the 14th, we'll do the same thing. And all those changes will come to you on June 11th. By then, we should have some pretty good state shared revenue numbers. We should know where our revenue numbers are trending as well. The reason I didn't come to you in March like we normally do is because really if I came and talked to you about the revenues, we haven't received any estimates from the state as of yet. We'll get our preliminary ones usually this week or next week from the state. So that'll allow us to then begin to put together a solid budget so that we don't have so many revisions. So I did leave April 23rd and May 29th as open dates in case you choose to want to come back and revisit some things. We'll come on June 25th and adopt that final budget based on that tentative budget we're going to bring to you on June 11th. And then we'll come back and adopt the property tax levy on July 9th. So you can tell we're coming 4 times. That's probably the least amount of times I can do it with giving you all the information that you're going to want. So looking for approval from you guys on this budget schedule. Do you want more meetings, less meetings? This is kind of the schedule I came up with, but
How many more want more meetings? Who wants more meetings?
Well, the 23rd and the 29th are possible extra meetings, right?
That's if I put them on the schedule just in case, let's say after the April 9th, you say, hey, we really want to look at this some more. You bring this back. We left that open just in case you wanted us to do that, and we can come back and bring you some more information. But again, what you guys will have before the April 9th meeting, you'll have all those documents that are covering those before that as a draft form. We'll present those that night, just kind of like we did this past year, so that way you have it beforehand to look at it. That night, we're basically answering questions on what you have or what you see.
So April 23rd is possible, and what other date?
May 29th.
May 29th, a Tuesday? Yeah.
Yes, because
Memorial.
the holiday, yeah.
Okay.
So those are possible. I don't anticipate us needing them because, last year we kind of went through it pretty quickly. And without a lot of changes in foreseeable increases in revenues or decrease in revenues, a lot of it's probably going to stay the same. There's really not a lot of wiggle room in it. So.
Okay.
Sounds like a good schedule.
So that's discussion only. All righty. Item number 12, ordinance number 18-01, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Coolidge, Arizona, amending Article 8-8 of the city of Coolidge, Arizona by adding new section 8-8-6 concerning the restriction of payment cuts in new streets, providing the severability and the effective date thereof. Discussion and action.
Madam Mayor. Thank you, members of the council. Thank you for this opportunity. This was precipitated by, as you know, we repaved Northern 3 years ago, and then within the first year and a half, we had several requests to come in and do utility repairs from a particular utility, and we didn't feel that it was a good use of the taxpayers' money who basically funded this project to move forward with that and have, after a year and a half, pavement cut after pavement cut after pavement cut after pavement cut in brand new roads that we and our staff and our contractors worked very hard to do, and it looks great. When it was completed, it was a nice addition to our city, and we had the difficulty of trying to get the utility companies to respect that and respect the time frame. And so what we as staff did, we looked through other locales to see if they had any pavement cut moratoriums in their codes, and we found one from the city of Chandler. The city of Chandler prohibits new pavement cuts for the first 3 years. We amended that to fit our situation, and we're bringing this forward to a meet for your approval.
Yeah, Matt, that's kind of funny it was brought up because I probably drive that road, I don't know how many times I go to see my granddaughters, and it makes me mad every time I'm driving down that road knowing that we paid that kind of money to have it tore up like that. So I'm in total favor of this.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we need a motion.
No further discussion. I make a motion that we approve the regular business item 12 ordinance as read.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve ordinance number 18-01. Norma, roll call.
Yes. Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Councilmember Hudson?
Yes.
Councilmember Walker?
Yes.
Councilmember Murrieta?
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Henry?
Yes.
Thank you.
Item number 13, resolution number 18-06, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Coolidge, Arizona, approving and adopting small cell wireless facility terms and conditions, schedules of fees, site license, and design standards to comply with Arizona Revised Statute Title 9, Chapter 5, Article 8, relating to compliance with the use of public right-of-ways by wireless providers, and authorizing the city engineer to update and modify the design standards as appropriate. Discussion and action.
Thank you again, Madam Mayor, members of the council. This was brought before originally from Gilbert Lopez, but he is out of town this evening. He asked that I present it. Basically, this is something that clears the way for small cell wireless facilities to be placed on our existing facility poles, light poles, power poles. They within the city right-of-way, and so they would fall under the jurisdiction of the city public works department with all of the appropriate permitting in there. We don't anticipate any to be coming forward within the next 30 days, so there's no need to have it as an emergency clause, and we can go ahead and keep it for the normal time frame. But this sets out the standards and the design standards for those small cell wireless facilities to enhance the wireless capabilities here in the city of Coolidge.
Just to add to what Matt has said, these changes are in response to House Bill 2365, which sets the limits on small cell wireless sites within our city rights-of-ways and caps fees that the city can charge for those facilities. I know that this particular topic is something we had to expedite because it was something that needed to be on the books here a little while ago. And I know that our legal counsel, I think they have a similar project to this over in Maricopa, and I don't know if there's some other jurisdictions, but
the cell providers, I think, wanted more of a uniform approach on these small cell systems. You start seeing them all around now. And so in answer to this, I know a few cities got together and worked out these regulations, and that's kind of what we've adopted is similar that I think Chandler and Mesa have adopted it. Maricopa has adopted it. I think Casa Grande's adopted it. So we're just doing something very similar so that these will be seen the same in all different cities we're trying to get so they're uniform.
It's not to be confused with your large cellular towers that are going on private property. We still have conditional use permit. We have standards for those. So that's not being addressed here. These are small cell towers within the public rights of ways using existing light fixture poles and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I
You'll
thought.
notice them a lot if you're driving around, you'll see them on street stoplights and things like that. They're around a lot already. This is just making them more uniform, so they'll be all very similar as you see them.
Is it like what Shopes has down there?
Yeah, his is on private properties, not city right of way. He negotiated that that lease agreement with that company, and they did get a conditional use permit for that one because it's on private property. These are mostly going to be in the city right of ways on city facilities.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, I need a motion.
With no further discussion, I move to approve number 13 as written.
Second.
There's been a motion made and seconded. All in favor?
No, it's a roll call. Vice Mayor.
Oh. Okay.
Councilmember Murrieta?
Yes.
Councilmember Walker?
Yes.
Councilmember Hudson?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Henry.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, report from the mayor, council, and city manager. We'll start with Jimmy.
I have nothing.
I went to the fly-in at the airport, and then, of course, Coolidge Days. And I want to commend Lynn Parsons and the chamber for acknowledging the businesses in town here that have been here a long time. I think hopefully it'll continue doing that. But you know, tags, Coolidge Cleaners, Coolidge Flower Shop, and Garrett Motors. You know, those businesses been here a long time. There's a lot of history behind all of them, and it's good to see them continue. And I think that we need to recognize these businesses for being in here as long as they have. It's tough to own a business anymore, and it's a lot of hard work. And the service that you provide keep you open, and they've done a great job of doing that. And Richard, you're one of them, so thank you very much.
I went to the Frank Talk at the library. Joyce lines up these Frank Talks at the library. They're good. This one was on racism. It's a good opportunity to get in to have everyone that we've had that I've attended before still is a real non-confrontational, excellent opportunity to meet people from the community. They had high schoolers there. They were there for extra credit, actually. And the talk was just good to be able to talk on a non-confrontational, you know, just everyone was cordial. And it's a tough topic, but it needs to be talked about. And I think Joyce, she's doing a great job bringing those in. I don't think that there's another one for a little while, right? But they are. You're looking to schedule some for next fall, I think. Yeah. So they're good. Frank Talks, that's what they're called.
Okay.
I also attended the Coolidge Fly-In and the Cotton Day celebration, and I echo everything that Steve said. I have to throw a shout out to our Coolidge FFA kids. I really love what Miss Roner and Miss Skornick do, and how they don't have to give extra credit to their kids to encourage them to be involved in the community. I don't know how those ladies do it, but they do it, and those kids are always doing something with the community. So I appreciate everything that everybody did for Cotton Days.
Rick?
I really enjoyed myself. I touched Mars. I touched the asteroid Vesta. I touched the moon this weekend. And I know if Joe Marsh was here, I think his son would have, I don't know if he was at that event or not, but he certainly had a good time. The museum at the Artisan Village and other vendors were there trying to raise some monies for the Artisan Village. Obviously, we have an obligation to meet. When I say we, the Performing Arts Center Foundation has an obligation to the high school district to purchase this land and this facility, and we're working hard. A lot of people are working very hard to raise funds to meet that obligation. so we can continue to stay there. When I say we, all of the participants, including those that were here tonight at the Military Honor Park. You know, we want it to be successful. We want the facility to have a long life, and the best way to do that is to find people that can work together, raise the monies that are necessary to meet those financial commitments that we have to the taxpayers to buy this facility from the school district. And it's been quite an honor and a challenge. We knew that going into this, but I think we'll be up to it. And I think all in all, the Artisan Village is a true testament to the resilience of the community in taking something that was falling apart and in decay and making something very useful out of it. So very happy to be a part of that. And the street down in front of City Hall, we've been vibrating in our building. They've been tearing out the concrete, and tomorrow probably the asphalt will be milled down. So if you want to come have a massage, just come sit in one of the City Hall chairs, and it'll just shake you right out of your chair. But it is on schedule. Hopefully by the mid-April, this project will be completed. We can take all the construction signs down, and people have kind of some normalcy in the downtown area, using streets that are just much nicer than they've ever been before. So it's a long overdue project. We're very excited about it. Appreciate the patience of the community and the businesses that have had to endure the construction. They've all been pretty good about it, but at the end of the day, we're going to have a really nice facility that'll help to enhance the overall image of downtown and the city.
And we are on schedule, correct?
Yes, we are.
Thank you. Let's see here. I think I spent a lot of the day Friday in the park and visited around. And that night we had the Cesar Chavez benefit over at the property. I attended that. Attended the fly-in, the parade, and I was at the park all day Saturday and night. Anyway, it turned out great. I'd like to echo what Steve said about our businesses, our long-term businesses in Coolidge. It's hard to retain a business, and especially in a small community. So I want to thank them for that. And with nothing else, we need an adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.